Sanam, this is Joti Kaur. I am here with Cristine Price, and Cristine is a mental health counselor, and among other amazing things, in northern Utah. And I'm going to interview her, talk to her a little bit, and we're going to have a conversation that should be very exciting and edifying and interesting. So first, Cristine, introduce yourself. Tell us about you.
So yeah, I have a background in mental health counseling, but I call it integrative mental health counseling because I blend the West and the East, the best that both have to offer. So I use traditional methods of therapy, mental health therapy, but I've brought in a lot of really good Eastern practices, including, meditation, mindfulness, yoga, and even working with the chakras, which I think we're going to talk about.
Yes, we are going to talk about that. So I like that you call it integrative mental health counseling.
Yeah, it's like integrative medicine. So yeah, integrative medicine works with, so in the background of that, it's, in the West, they studied cadavers to develop medicine. So what is a cadaver missing? Life force energy. And in the East, they study the life force energy, but not so much, work with the body directly as just a body. Right. So bringing the two together is awesome. And
yes, I am a big fan of using all of God's gifts. And that's why I think you've been so successful as a therapist in your area, because there's just not a lot of that available anywhere.
It is kind of unique, but when people find it there, it's like, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And, and it's nice that so I don't really call what I do energy work, because I feel like there's a science definitely to what I do. And I want to emphasize that. And so I'm actually also a student with Quantum University, working on my doctorate there in natural medicine. And I've loved how it's connected, even learning about the chakras, there's a connection to, a true science in how that all works together in a quantum way.
Awesome.
So there's ways to intervene with your physical well-being without meds, with your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, and your spiritual well-being. And so looking at the spiritual well-being is, basically looking at the vital body as well. And so within the vital body are the chakras and the meridians and the aura. So one course I've created is around balancing your chakras using a variety of different modalities or approaches, including sensory approaches. And yeah, that's what I'd like to talk more about.
Yeah. So tell us, it's like a 7.
There's 7. I'm working with the 7 basic chakras. And so the course, I've created it so people could actually come in from either angle. In fact, I kind of thought about making the heart chakra the center of the course and even the starting point, because from the heart center, the other chakras are connected to the heart. And so from the heart, you have the upper triangle, which is where typically people are a little top heavy that I run into. And so that means that not everybody.
People who are more who are looking for integrative health stuff.
People who are more conscious.
The path of awakening. Okay.
On the path of awakening.
You tend to be a little focused on the upper chakras.
Well, yeah, we tend to be more comfortable, I think, in our upper chakras.
Yeah.
So about processing ideas, using our intuition with our third eye, connecting to our source. Yeah.
Yeah, I love all that.
We love all that, right? Yeah. And you think that would be enough, but
I think that's the most important part. That's
what
we think. Yeah.
That's what we think. But then we have the lower triangle. And what's interesting is that I see a lot of relationships. In fact, one of the researches I'm doing is with this contrast in a lot of relationships, where we have people who are very comfortable in that spiritual triangle, but they're not fully balanced And so they tend to attract people that are a little stronger in their lower triangles.
Okay.
And so someone who shows up who's really strong in a lower triangle is going to be really in the physical realm. They might be kind of more focused on money. They have a little more focus on their center of self. And so they may look self-centered. And they're also, a lot of times they'll play rather than get serious. And so that might look like, you know, escape or addictive behaviors even. So that's an imbalance with the lower.
Okay.
And so typically people who are more spiritual, so to speak, are not thinking of the lower triangle as a goal to develop, right? So
it's actually one of the most important, because you really can't open your heart without a strong lower triangle.
Right. Yeah. So I've learned a lot about the kind of that energetic anatomy of someone who's an empath, who's really in their heart space and wants to give.
Just a second.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, will you just tell what an empath is?
Okay. Yeah. So someone who's an empath tends to be really sensitive to emotions, to, you know, kind of subtle things going on in their environment that other people may not pick up on if they're more protected, so to speak. And so an empath tends to be sensitive in like large groups of people, or walk into Walmart and just have anxiety, or be sitting with someone who they're feeling hurt by, and that other person has no idea that they're saying or doing things that are hurtful. And, you know, in their conversation or in the way that they interact.
They tend to take on energy,
take on things, and
feel drained in crowds.
It can be drained.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm an empath. It took me years to figure that out and learn how to protect myself. And it's a tricky thing, being a happy empath. But it can definitely be done. But not knowing about it and not taking proper care of yourself as an empath can be quite painful. So tell us more about what you learned about the subtle.
So what I've learned about, so like the lower chakras, so that includes the root chakra, the sacral, and the solar plexus. If those are stronger and more in balance with the upper chakras, then you've got a solid foundation and you are more complete and whole. You're going to attract different things. You're going to have a different life experience that's based on more of balance, and live in the physical realm with more comfort and, you know, joy and all those good things. So yeah, and I think the idea is to be able to see, what does it look like to have positive experience with the root chakra, for example. And I see a lot of clients that, you know, that are weaker in their root chakra because they don't want to get angry, for example, or they're disempowered because they associate that power with negative things, like, you know, using it, you know, to take advantage of other people or something that doesn't feel good to them. But there's ways to access that root chakra and be in, to connect to that power in that physical realm that can be very positive. So, yeah.
So let's say someone is listening right now and they're like identifying, okay, yeah. What will your, how do you address that in your course? What are you?
So in the course, so a couple things. One is, it's kind of fun to be able to read the chakras. And so I have 3 different ways I go about that I've decided I'm actually going to want to teach that to people as just an introduction and a way to start connecting with this idea. Basically learning how to read those chakras yourself and to know where your balances and imbalances and what that looks like. So it's kind of the place to start, is to kind of know more about your own energy.
Right.
So I've come
wrong.
Or where you might have an excess, or you might, you know, sometimes a chakra is still, it's not, you know, moving and flowing. In fact, in the solar plexus, I see a lot of women that their chakras are still. And so they're just kind of like waiting to take care of themselves. They take care of everybody else first. And then when there's time left, they'll get to themselves.
Yes.
That would be.
And then they turn like 65 and they haven't done it.
And they're like, oh, I'm still working on it. Yeah, I might have time. Yeah.
And there's a lot of pent up anger about that.
Yeah, there can be. But there's 3 different ways I've found to actually read your own chakras. So I'm going to do a little mini series on that.
Okay.
And so if people want access to that, it'll be free. It'll help you just get going in the process of understanding your own energy. And so you can text the word chakra and your email address to 435-915-6915. And then you'll get that little mini series. And so there's handouts with it, and just it's simple.
That's great.
But
I'm going to text you right now.
All right, you do that. You can get it.
Okay, so then in the bigger course, though, I believe you said you incorporated a whole bunch of different.
Yes, which is why I thought of you to tell about this, because so I've done courses before that taught a lot of the principles about the chakras, different ways to kind of get in touch with that or to balance the energy. And there's a lot of sensory things you can do, which is fun. Music can help, and essential oils can help. And so that's fun. But I think the most powerful thing I found, one of the most powerful things I found is Kundalini Yoga. To basically do a full Kundalini Yoga session. I hear people say they feel good for a week from that. And it's, if you were to measure the energy before and after, I actually did. I started a little bit into that in my first series a year or 2 ago. And I had everybody in the room do the Sat Kriya. So I had them read their chakra energies, especially the solar plexus and lower, before we did Sat Kriya, and then after Sat Kriya. And everyone in the room had a shift in their energy from that.
It's really powerful.
Yeah, it really is. So I learned that from my training with Yo, from the Jedi training. And, I learned a ton about, using Kundalini as a way to intervene with our well-being and to create better well-being. And so good stuff. So I incorporated a full Kundalini class now with each chakra.
Oh, good.
And in fact, my curriculum as to graduate from the Jedi training, level 0 training, was to do a Kundalini curriculum. And mine was on the chakras, if you remember. So
yeah, I think I used in my comments that I wanted to take that course.
So I had that kind of established. So this time around, I've got the full Kundalini segment in there. And then a year ago, I did your guided imagery training. And so I also have added a guided imagery for each chakra. And so what's really lovely is we do the full Kundalini process. And then when we go into our kind of savasana or meditation, then I use the guided imagery. Now that the body has kind of opened up and things are in balance, and then the subconscious can say, all right, what's next? And we use that opportunity to give some amazing messages and, kind of new ways of being in the world to that subconscious mind. So,
and the subconscious mind loves that.
It's fun.
And the body loves that, and everything loves the image.
Both of those trainings were so instrumental in completing what feels like that element of balancing.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's wonderful too, that you use these things in your practice as well, right? Sometimes with clients.
I do, yeah.
And they love it and keep coming back for more.
They do.
Watch the full interview at vimeo.com. Video 312-041-319. Learn more about Cristine Price at CristinePrice.com. There's no H in Cristine. Or experience her online courses at quantaliving.com. Learn more about Felice Austin or Nam Joti Kaur by contacting her at feliceaustin@gmail.com or visiting her sites at treeoflifekundaliniyoga.net or the treeoflifestore.org.